I want to thank all of you for still sticking around here. It's been a long day. Hopefully it's been a good day, an inspirational day. Hopefully a day that you'll remember and that your children will remember for the rest of their life. Our next speaker is a local boy. Man. He's the president of the Virginia Citizens Defense League.
All right!
Get up here. Philip and their organization is one of the largest grassroots pro-gun organizations in the country. They've got over 5,000 paying members, and they've got 15 or 20,000 email newsletter subscribers. They're very active in helping to get shell issue done in Virginia, and they were also very active in getting preemption, which is a very, very important law. If your state doesn't have preemption, that's one of the things you've got to work for. You can't let local municipalities enact gun laws that are more restrictive than the state. Across a city or county border, you should be able to still protect yourself. So that preemption is a really important law. You have it in Virginia. So without further ado, Philip and Cleave.
Wow, look at you guys. All right. Appreciate you guys coming out. What a beautiful day we had for you guys here in Virginia, and in this case, D.C. Looking back on this, I was thinking all I was going to say, and I think we kind of look a little bit again at our history. Over the last 150 years, we've had major portions of our right to keep and bear arms stripped away from us through gun control laws. The roots of those gun control laws in America began around the time of the Civil War, even before the Civil War, as a way to control freed slaves. The establishment didn't want blacks to have guns, so they created Jim Crow laws to disarm them while leaving whites with their guns. Just as shamefully, the Supreme Court, just before the Civil War, ruled in the Dred Scott versus Sanford case that freed slaves could not be considered citizens because if they were, they'd be able to own guns and be able to take them anywhere they went. In so many words, the Supreme Court said, we can't have that now, can we? But today, the Black Caucus in Congress favors most gun control measures. I don't get it.
Me either.
You have, other people. You have Chuck Schumer. I know, I should have warned you before I said that. Here's another one. Dianne Feinstein.
Pickle.
They're both Jewish. And I don't understand what part of the Second World War they missed. I don't get it. And Congresswoman Carolyn McCarthy. Her husband was tragically murdered in a gun-free zone on a train traveling in New York. So she got into Congress. So what did she do? She decided to create more gun-free zones. Now, was she expecting a different result from gun-free zones? I don't know. I don't get it. Well, here's a fact for you, and you've heard it before, but it's true. Gun control isn't about guns. It's about control. The problem that we have is we're the kind of people, those of you sitting out here, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, there's a mixture here, I guarantee it. All looking to protect some of our very basic civil rights. But we don't want to control everybody else's life. I don't know about you, I have no interest in controlling any of your lives. I want you to be able to go about your life, do whatever you want. If you're not harming anybody else, have fun, knock yourself out. It doesn't matter. And consequently, for people like you, it's hard to fathom what it's like to live in the mind of somebody who's obsessed with controlling people, that wants to be able to dictate to them what they can eat and where they can go and if they can own a gun or not. Whether God should be mentioned anywhere in the government, whatever it is, there are people that live to control others. I don't get that either. But it doesn't matter if I get it, they're there, and we have to deal with it. And originally gun control, as I mentioned, started with controlling the freed slaves and blacks. But it isn't limited. Gun control isn't limited to controlling minorities. In 1911, New York instituted their Sullivan laws, aimed at disarming the Irish through licensing and registration. Well, what could be harmful about licensing and registration? Nothing if you don't mind giving up your rights. No harm at all. And we all know what good licensing and registration does with cars stopping drunk drivers, don't we? Works real well. But in New York, in 1911, and to this day really, but basically back then in 1911, when it came to getting a gun, the Irish need not apply.
Yes.
Over the years, every time a madman goes out there and commits murder, Congress is chomping at the bit to get out there and give us more gun control. Again, as if more gun-free zones are going to make it safer. And it just doesn't work. But they try it. And we have been doing a very good job in this country over the last 10 or 15 years fighting off gun control. In fact, thanks to your efforts out there, we have actually done a whole lot in turning that whole train around. And yeah, you guys deserve a big applause. I mean, this nation is freer today than it was 15 years ago because of your efforts. But during the years, little by little, a right that was not supposed to be infringed was infringed. In D.C., right where we stand, it was infringed to the point of virtual disarmament of the citizens of D.C. And if you know D.C., you know that this is one place where you really need a gun. There are just places you really want to be careful if you ever go anywhere near them. Of course, the D.C. citizens were being left helpless, sitting ducks by their government. The government itself is busy arming itself. The government never has a problem arming its own employees. If you get a check from the government, getting armed is no big deal. If you don't, getting armed is a big deal. But to think that a paycheck stuff would make such a difference. And it's all part of the hypocrisy that goes on in government this way. In Virginia, we now have a law we just got passed that repeals the restaurant ban. That was a big one. 13 years in the making. And before that in Virginia, you had to carry your gun openly in a restaurant, and you just couldn't conceal it. Now we can conceal it. But now we have two classes of citizens in Virginia.